about lots of things this morning, cookies and crafts. So if you have a cookie or craft tip, please share them. We're trying to get in the spirit here. But we have a good question of the day. And because we're talking about community partnerships, it can be large or small, but think of a time. We'd love to hear a time when someone has done something for you when you needed support. And it could be something at work or personally at home. But the thing that comes to mind of someone supporting you and what they did, we'd love to hear it. Thanks, Allison, for finding that in the chat. Oh, nice. No charge adoption event. Love it. That's great. Oh, Allison, that's nice. It can be work or personal, just anytime someone has done something recently that made you feel supported or how they supported you. Allison, do you want to give a little bit of info? It was just something small, right? But it meant a lot.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Just somebody did that recently, just sent me a text and said, I'm thinking about you this week and I love you dearly. And it was just so sweet and simple. And it just gave me a boost.
Oh, I love that. That's nice. That happened to me too the other day. It meant a lot. Meal trains. Sheila, you fostered a dog, a whole laundry basket of supplies and toys. That's so nice. I love when that happens so you don't have to go to the store. So for anyone logging in, hi, Diana, welcome. We're just in the chat if you want to share a time when someone supported you. Alexis T, do you want to unmute and talk about it? If not, it's okay. We'd love to hear one or two ideas.
Sure. Yeah. My husband decided to do some tasks around the house that I just did not have the energy or mental capacity for. And I was just like, great, go for it, do it.
Yes.
And it was super helpful.
Yes, when you're dreading it, the dishes or laundry. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else want to share something that comes to mind? Feel free to unmute.
Hey, this is Dina. On mine, it's like total strangers who say something nice. And so it doesn't, even that can provide a boost because you know that they consciously went out of their way because they don't even know you. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so nice. Anyone else? One more, maybe? And if you're just joining, we're talking about a time that someone supported you. Could be big or small, something they did. Becky, do you want to share yours? I'll put you on the spot.
Hey guys, yeah, we just had one of our fosters wanted to give back to our program, and they offered to sponsor the next 2 adoptions that we had that happened. And the next one happened to be for a veteran that lived on a very income-based part and everything. And so he was just crying when we told him that his adoption was sponsored. We already give them a discounted thing, but and then the staff and I got together and sponsored him for dog food and collar and leash and everything too. So he went home with everything, and it just he served our country and did so much. So it just felt really, really great, especially with the holiday season right now. So
oh, that's amazing, Becky. And
so
if
lots
anyone
of
yeah, I can imagine on both sides. If anyone doesn't know, Becky's from an incredible organization called Let Love Live, and has is based in Texas and Minnesota. So great to have you, Becky. Thank you. That's sweet. I love the chat blowing up with all of these amazing things. This is really inspiring. But we're going to kick it off here because we're a little bit over our call. We have a great panel ahead about community partnerships, but we'll first start with any national updates. So if anyone has any national updates, feel free to unmute, and you can also add them in the chat, but we'll open it up now.
I will jump in.
I am here representing the International Shelter Slumber Party that is taking place on March 25th. We actually have two other countries that are interested outside of the United States. So we're trying to make this international. We have 46 organizations set up so far, spend 24 hours in a kennel, peer-to-peer fundraising. It's really fun. I'm going to put the interest form in the chat. So we'd love to get as many organizations as possible. We'd love at least 100 by the beginning of the year. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Jennifer Comis. I'll jump in as well from the Humane Society of the United States. I just wanted to remind everybody here that our Animal Expo 23 is coming up in April 3rd through 6th, and we did open up our scholarships. We have two types of scholarship available this year. The first are BIPOP scholarships, and the second are scholarships for any individuals kind of who are working with or volunteering with an animal shelter organization. And so I'm going to put the link to those scholarships and also the link to register for the conference in the chat if anyone is interested.
Hey, it's Aurora from Cuddly. Just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that this month we're going to be matching wishlist donations on our pet pantry platform. Varying amounts, randomly selected. So really organizations of any size, any, scope of reach have a chance to be selected. So even the little guys, you're in there. Just need to be on the pet pantry platform, and that can be for pet food pantry, foster program, general shelter. As long as it's a programmatic need, it's all good. We're going to be matching up to $10,000 in wish list donations. So if you want to learn more, you want to activate a wish list, I'm going to drop our email in the chat. Just send me a note.
Hi, this is Jessica Arnold from Pet Finder. I just wanted to mention that we have launched a new feature called the supply demand feature in the member side of Pet Finder that allows shelters and rescues to look at pets seeking across the United States laid out geographically. We are having a webinar to talk about the feature, how to use it, and possible implications on Thursday, and I will put the link that webinar in the chat. We would love for you all to join us there.
Thank you so much. Anyone else with a national update?
Hi, I'm Michelle with the Animal Hospice Group based in Seattle. And I wanted to let all of you know that we are working on a video that's being developed especially for people like you, shelter, rescue, sanctuary audience, on nursing care for animals who are senior, frail, and toward the end of life. So please sign up to hear more about what the exact launch date will be. It will only be for 1 week that we're launching it. So you want to get on that mailing list, and love to hear from you. Give me a ring anytime. Thank you. And happy holidays, everyone.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. And I saw quite a few updates in the chat as well. So feel free to scroll up there. But if you're joining on your phone, you can always, there's a lot of updates all at once. So you can get a recap at Maddie's pet form if you're missing a link or trying to hunt something down. So we want to make sure we have enough time here for this panel because we have such an incredible conversation and panelists. So we're spotlighting a few of us right now. But Allison, did you want to take it away and introduce our topic and our panelists?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Cardona. I'm co-hosting today. I work for the UC Davis Correct Shelter Medicine Program, and I'm so excited to have our 4 panelists join us today. And I feel like it was such a great way to kick off the call, thinking about being supported and thinking about our role in animal shelters and animal sheltering and really partnering with the community and supporting. And we asked these 4 incredible human beings to come here today. They all are working on the front lines, developing programs, providing services to their community. and we really wanted to hear from them. So we'll be leading a discussion. We have Kylie Ortega, who is the Human Animal Support Services Programs Coordinator for Fresno Humane Animal Services in California. We also have Donell Randolph, who is the Human Animal Support Services Coordinator for the Friends of Oakland Animal Services in Oakland, California. We have Michelle George, the Field Support Manager for Lifeline Animal Project in Fulton County Animal Services in Georgia. And we have Corey Brookins, who is the Pet Support Manager for the Humane Rescue Alliance in Washington, D.C. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much. And Claire's going to kick us off with some questions for the panel.
Thanks, Allison, and thank you, amazing panelists. We're so excited to have this conversation, and feel free to chime in too. We are going to leave this. We want to make it definitely conversation focused, so not super structured. So feel free to chime in if you have something to add. But the first question I wanted to ask really is for all the panelists, and maybe Kylie, if you're the first I see here, if you want to kick it off. We wanted to know, what does community partnership mean to you? And what does that look like at your organization? And once you're done, we can just, if you all want to take a turn in answering that. So Kylie, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So for me, especially, the community partnerships that we have here in Fresno are like the link that we have between our shelter and the people that we serve. So obviously that's very important. Here, what that looks like right now, like the programs that we're working on, one of our big ones is our veterinary assistance program. And some of the partnerships that we've been creating with vet clinics in the area have been incredible. So as our vet assistant program grows and our clinics learn that we are a resource to those people, that partnership has just gotten a lot stronger, with a few clinics in particular. But yeah, just being able to discuss with the clinics like what our community needs, and having them understand what we can offer, what's realistic, that's been really, really huge for us. So those partnerships are really important.
Absolutely. Donell, Corey, Michelle, do you want to add anything? What does it mean to you? What does it look like at your organization?
I can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, y'all. Thank you for having me once again. So community partnerships to me means a relationship between an organization or agency, which we have developed here at HRA. Partnerships with my organization gives us the capacity to help keep more pets in their homes with their families. At HRA, we really focus on being a place where the community can turn to for support and resources for help. Building a place where, our community can feel like they can trust someone, that we're not here to just like take their pets from them, or they just have no other choice but to put their animal down, which is really the theory that a lot of people do have of most local or city shelters. So yeah, that's mine.
Okay, so for me, I answered as being a way to collaborate with others to reach a common goal. And so we have multiple departments within Fulton that have to work together, as well as outside of Fulton, in order to accomplish the common goal of, keeping pets with their people, and then finding placement for pets that have either come in as, not having a person or people, or for whatever reason have to be rehomed. And we have, different resources and tools to help us through that, but that's how I see it. For as far as how it looks, it would be, each party listening, education, an education component, counseling, providing resources, and then follow up and feedback from, each party.
All right, community partners for me. All right, community partnerships, it means a lot to me. When I was a kid, I did lose a dog because we couldn't afford medical care. And so that what brings me to the front every day to be like, just because you can't afford medical care does not mean you don't deserve an animal. It might be the best home ever. But at this moment, you're having a hard time. No one knows what's going to happen. So I loved when Oakland Animal Service decided to partner with Haas. They showed us so many different programs everyone in the United States were doing, things that we were able to bring to the shelter. So things that we have just started is a medical voucher program to try to keep more animals outside the shelter. That's one of the new programs I will be running starting in 2023. We have partners with Vets and Bands. It's a program where BIPOC women has started that are vets that wants to give low income people access to medical care. I'm enjoying doing that. I've also done ACO work going out with them to provide leashes, collars, set up appointments for them to come back to the shelter. We're not interested in taking people's animals. We want to help them. We want to give them a leg up. And the biggest program I really enjoy right now is going out to the unsheltered community and giving medical care to these people who want to keep their animals, doing a great job, just to use another leg up. Thank you.
The work you all are doing is absolutely incredible, and this is such a great experience, I think, for everyone. Allison and I were both looking at each other just to hear the work that you're doing, and not just one program, but just multiple initiatives. So I want to ask too, in terms of lessons that you've learned, what have you learned along the way through these partnerships? Because I know many of you have been doing this for a while, but what are some of the takeaways or lessons you've learned by partnering with your community? And that's open to anyone. Yeah.
I know for me, and for us here, and we get into this place where we're like, the community, they don't care. They're dumping their animals. They're trying to surrender them because they're old, blah, blah, blah. And having these programs has made me realize how much people care about their pets. They want to help their pets. They just don't always have the means to do so, which just kind of changes your perspective of your community and makes you want to help them more. Like, these people want help, and if we can provide that, we're going to do it. And it's also just opened my eyes to the need in our community and communities across the country for these programs, for veterinary assistance, pet deposit assistance, pet food assistance. Like, people are asking for help, and we need to be there to help them because they do want the best for their pets.
Communicating. I feel like communicating with the people actually have taught me a lot, not to come prejudged, actually listen to what their needs are and see what we can actually do to help. We don't have that much money out of animal services, but we do what we can to help the animals and the people that we can, and listening will always take us in the right direction.
So what I've learned in partnering with the community is that there are people out there who genuinely care about the work that we actually do and will actually do anything to do their part in helping animals stay in their homes. We found ways to work with members of our community to grow together and really work together on finding solutions to problems that have come up every day here at shelters, whether it's something as small as an animal needing a crate. There are always something or someone out there to help in the smallest or biggest way. But just knowing that there's always someone out there, you just got to go out there and look for those resources.
For me, with my response on this is we all are a work in progress. So everyone has a voice to be heard. And if we just sit back and, take the time to listen, we can find a better solution. We gain insight, more resources, and build more effective relationships with the community that we serve. It gives us more ideas on how we can serve them better.
Thanks, Michelle. And thanks everyone for that. It's really, really helpful to hear. Michelle, I'll keep you talking for a second if you're open to it, but I know when I chatted with you previously, it was just really striking to hear you've been at Lifeline and working in Atlanta for a while and have seen a lot of growth and a lot of changes over the years in different positions you've held, but now you're a field support manager. And so do you want to walk us through some of the changes you've seen when it comes to community partnerships in your city and in your organization?
Absolutely. So I began working with Lifeline. They took over a previous contract that we had. And so I began with them in 2013. I came over to field service probably 2015. So from 2015 to about 2018, we had our dispatch ran internally. So we were actually taking our field service calls. We were inputting them in our system. We would do dispatch for our officers. And then 2018, we had E911 come in and they started taking our calls, and it allowed for our dispatch team to become more of a support team. 2018 would be about the time that we had where our field officers work with Pets for Life, which is part of our organization at this time. So the main programs or departments that work with us as far as community partnerships is going to be our field services, Pets for Life, and our community support teams. And so in 2018, if our officers came across an issue with a client in the field where they may have had a call for cruelty because the pet didn't have shelter or wasn't on a runner, they were tethered outside illegally, we would have to issue a warning or citation unless they were in the Pets for Life zip code. And if they were in Pets for Life zip code, then we could refer them over to Pets for Life, and then Pets for Life would take them on as a client. We would set them up with a compliance date, and then we go back out and check for compliance, and then hopefully close the call out that way. Again, during that time, prior to 2018, we did internal dispatch, which means we had to do all of their data entry. 2018, E911 comes in and kind of streamlines our process. So now in 2018, not only is that where we're at as far as Pets for Life is concerned and what we're able to do, our field officers, instead of having to do handwritten reports, they went to a point where everything was mobile. So they got their calls mobile. They were able to put themselves en route and clear their calls mobile. They just had to clear their dispositions with our radio at that point. So to go back 2000 and I want to say about 2020, we came and sat down at the table and we said, hey, what can we do as far as delivering, the dog houses and runners and stuff like that to the community in the field? Because it looked like we were referring so many cases over to Pets for Life that, they also had a clientele to handle, and then we were referring everyone in their zip code, to also seek resources there. So about 2020, we were granted permissions to go out when we had clients that needed those types of things. If they were in Pets for Life zip code, we can go ahead and offer them to them and list them. So when the supplies became available, our officers were able to actually deliver them to them in the field. If we had a person at that time that didn't meet the qualifications as far as zip codes, we could still sign them up and it would still be reportable, but we didn't have an actual program that oversaw them. It still went you know, it was reported, but it wasn't something that may have been or may not have been followed up on other than compliance checks. When COVID struck, we implemented our community support team. And so whatever Pets for Life didn't oversee, our community support team oversaw. So once that call was generated in the field and we delivered the supplies, a monthly report goes out to multiple departments to let them know, hey, you know, this is where we're at as far as who's waiting on supplies versus who we've already delivered, so that they could follow up with case management for anything that's already been delivered, and then they can see where we're at as far as what our need is. So that's where we're at with that. And then in addition to that, we have it to where like basic leashes, collars, dog food, crates. If we have a dog that's outdoors because they're tied up outside, but they are normally inside, but the person can't leave them inside. If they just need a crate, we can deliver a crate to them. So those types of things, we don't too much report on those. It's just if we have it in surplus and there's a need for it, we can go ahead and deliver. We will also transport pets as needed for treatment. So like if they don't have transportation and we get a call for an injured owned pet, there's a form they fill out, they contact their local vet and we transport them for them. Or if by chance a pet has been impounded and may not have had a microchip that the officer could return it in the field, we can have an officer to return that dog in the field as well. So we do have those types of things in play for our field officers, in addition to, their normal enforcement duties that they have to respond for.
Michelle, I have a question. First of all, this is so inspiring, and love to hear all of this and your experience. How many officers do you have on your team?
Right now, I believe we have about 15 officers.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's the population that you cover? Do you know? Just maybe.
So we're the largest county in Georgia.
Wow.
I can tell you that. I can't tell you the population, but I can tell you we're the largest county in Georgia, and we account for 1.1 million. I have my director in the background yelling at me like.
Sorry about that. I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Population, but that's definitely a lot. Really appreciate hearing your experience and how your organization has changed. I wanted to jump in because Kylie, I know you were talking about some of the programs and something. I'm in California also that I recently thought was such a great idea. Do you want to tell us about your foster drive-through that you did over the holiday weekend, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Fresno Humane held a drive-through foster event for the Thanksgiving holiday. People could literally drive up to our shelter. We have a big sally port, so they would drive into the sally port. We'd get information from them, like what animals they have at home, what they're looking for, large, small, male, female, and we'd have folders for all of our dogs that were ready to go out to foster with all their information, handouts, like all the stuff that they need to know. And our runners would go match them with the dog, bring the dog up. The person would fill out our foster form, get the dog in the car, and they'd be on their way. And then we'd sign them out. It was just like boom, boom, boom. So we got, I want to say, close to 40 dogs out for the weekend. We did it for 2 days leading up to Thanksgiving. And then the fosters had the option of doing the same thing, driving through to drop the dogs off after the holiday. I know some were adopted, some might still be in foster, and then some were returned. But at least the ones that were returned, we have so much information now on how they are at home, which is super helpful for finding them adopted homes.
So cool. Love that. And love the ingenuity in making it so simple for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I love hearing all the wisdom and the partnership and your own personal experiences. And I think when we talk about community sheltering and community partnerships, there are detractors, right? I know before working for UC Davis, I worked for Los Angeles County Animal Care and Control, and we made a switch to community supported sheltering. And there were a lot of folks who came for us and said, you don't want to take animals in anymore. We stopped taking in, healthy adult cats because they were better supported in the community. But a lot of folks said, you don't want to do your job. You just don't want to take animals in anymore. So just want to ask the group, like, what is your experience and what would you say to folks when they ask if partnering with the community means that you don't want to take in animals at the shelter?
I would say it doesn't mean that at all. There is always going to be a need for a shelter. It's a means to communicate with the community and a means to get feedback from them to assist them in the best way we can. The shelter should be your last resort. It should be a tool and a resource. It shouldn't be somewhere that you can just drop your pet off and say, I'm done. That's how I feel about it.
So myself, I like to give people like that reassurance that that's actually not the case. And if an animal doesn't have to part from its current family, why would I take it out of its current home and place it in another one just because they can't afford care at that time? So I feel like if you have the tools or the needed supply of what this person is in need of just to keep their pet to prevent it from being surrendered at a shelter, you should be doing that exact thing to keep that animal out of that shelter if it can be helped.
So we hear that a lot here, that we don't want to take in animals. Having taken over a new animal control contract recently, people have had certain ideas about how the previous shelter was running things. And so there's been this like shift to, okay, Fresno Humane, they don't want to take in, adult cats. They don't want to take in this, they don't want to take in that. And we don't want to take in animals that don't need to be there. And I think that's something that we just have to keep kind of educating the community about why that is and what resources we have to help people so that those animals don't end up in the shelter. But as far as wanting to take in animals, no, you're right, we don't want to. We will if we need to, but we're gonna figure out some things first to try to avoid that.
Exactly, Kylie. We do not want to take them in. If we can do anything to prevent it, we will. Shelter is one of the worst places to bring animals to. It's sickness, it's illness, it's stress. If we're able to get to these people before they want to surrender, or if they need medical help, we will do what we can to keep everyone together. We'll take in the sick, we'll take in the injured, but the healthy ones, we can figure out different solutions. So.
Does anybody want to specifically comment? Somebody made a comment in the chat about really coming up against it when it comes to adult cats. Any words of wisdom there or experience that you could share?
I think you missed just the question part. Do you want to say that one more time, Allison?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was just saying that in the chat, there was someone who commented about really coming up against this with adult cats. And I'm wondering if anyone on the panel has some experience or some hope to share or some strategies to share with that person.
It goes back to, I'll take some, as I've had several instances with the adult cats, especially the ones who are misunderstood, as I like to say, misunderstood, with them being indoor, outdoor, and just educating the public. Like, that's just it. But some people don't understand that some cats, is no telling them that they're going to have to stay inside. It's like not possible with some cats. It'll stress them out. And it's like, just educating them that, hey, this is actually a good thing. This cat is healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. That kind of indicates that he is living his best life out there. And it just goes back to educating people, and that's it. Some people are going to be receptive to it, and some people aren't. It's just, got to keep trying.
Love that. Thank you. I appreciate the calm energy from this panel too. Okay, so what about, sometimes folks say, or organizations say, I don't even know where to start, or I'm hesitant. So what would you say to an organization that is hesitant to start this work, and what would you recommend as the first step? Donell, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I would say start small. So for the first community program that we decided to develop was to connect with the city and go into the unsheltered encampments to help people with their animals, make sure that everyone has leashes, collars, vaccinations, make sure any medical treatment, sign the animals up for spay and neuter, and just be there to support the people. And so when we first got started, I said, we're not pushing spay and neuter. We don't want to alienate them from us. We want this to learn to be actually a road for them to come back and forth to us if they need us. And so we didn't push it for the ones who wanted it. We did the ones who didn't. It was like, okay, when you're ready, let us know. Here goes our card, and we'll set it up. We got a lot of donations in that people donated for this program. We got a lot of naysayers like, this is terrible, we're not doing good work. But actually, it kind of helped the ACOs, because we also had animals that got lost from their owners across town, and we're able to reunite them because we did microchips and we have the information. We're keeping them up to date. We see them every few months. So that's the best way for how we started. So.
Love that. Corey, you're unmuted. You want to go next?
So yeah, I guess I'll take the floor. So a little over a year ago, we actually started at my organization something called the Treat to Return program, whereas though it was kind of an intervention in between the animal actually having to come into the shelter, seeing if it was something that we could possibly intervene with to possibly even stop the surrender. So I would say the first start point would be actually creating the communications throughout your organization, and seeing what everyone's capacity is, and seeing what we can, what we can't do. We actually found at our shelter, we are able to do most things at the shelter. So with that, we were able to even get patrons in for vet exams twice a week. Over this past year, twice. We were also be able to do surgeries, which a lot of people with cats, we found that a lot of people want cats at shelters because their cats start to spray. So we're like, okay, we're seeing this so often, why not just start neutering the cats, giving them back? Over this year alone, we have done over 500, is it 500? 500 animals through the Treat to Return program, and prevented them from being surrendered to the shelter with just that middle intervention, whether if it's behavioral, medical, supplies, any of those things that we're able to do it, we have been doing it over this past year, which has really shown a lot in the numbers with intakes and outcomes and things of that nature.
That's incredible. Congratulations. And it just shows that a simple solution can really have a huge impact.
Yes.
Michelle, how about you? What would be the first step, and what would you say to an organization that's hesitant to start this type of work?
Okay, there we go. I would say not to be hesitant. If you never, try a partnership with someone, you'll never know what you can get out of that relationship. So the first thing I would say is identify your common interests or needs, and then go from there, is what I would say. Yep.
Going off what everyone else has said, I mean, looking at your community and listening to your community of what the greatest needs are and starting there. And like Donell said, starting small, don't go crazy yet. But like if you have a lot of people looking to surrender animals and you're seeing a common denominator, focus on that. That's going to be your biggest help. And it could be something fairly easy, like what Corey was saying with spay and neuter. If that can help keep, hundreds of animals out of the shelter, that's a really good place to start.
Love this. So I actually want Emily Wood, if you don't mind, you had an interesting question in the chat, if you don't mind unmuting.
Sure. I'd love to hear all of your perspectives on how you kind of bridge talking to people who think what we should do is take people's pets away and put them in better homes. Or bridging that gap from the way we've trained people to think about how shelters work to this work.
So my thing is you have to listen to everyone's story to know how to better assist them. To say, hey, we're going to take your pet just to, hold it and possibly rehome it may not be the best option. And most times it's not the best option. So we have to meet a person on their level, listen to them, hear their story, hear what their actual need is, and try to best associate or try to best assist them in the way that we can if we have those resources available. And if not, if we have access to those resources or someone else who has access to those resources, try to get them in contact with those people to do so.
Thanks, Michelle. Does anybody else want to comment on that, particularly around this idea of a better home?
For myself, I want to say I don't like to pass judgment on anyone, especially in the beginning. It's like you never know what someone is going through, or what I've also discovered, you never know what they're not saying as much as they are saying. And then I look at it as if they actually have showed up to my organization and they're here with their pet, they must care. This was their last result, and they are at that point where it's just like, okay, I had no other choice. I let it get this far. I didn't know what to do. And it's also a learning experience for them too. They're like, okay, now I know when I bring my animal to this place, it's not going to be a judgment. I'm not going to be in trouble. I'm not scared. It's more of making the environment and that community comfortable with the resources that they do have. And then letting them know that we're not here to judge. And that finding another home is always, to me, never the best option, especially if this animal already has a family. Most people don't look at their animals as pets. Majority of people that I deal with look at their pets as family members. So I wouldn't want to take anyone's family member for them because they were acknowledged on a specific thing, and then you bring them to this place and they're like, oh, you're wrong, this is bad. It's just more of educating, I feel like, with stuff like that.
So I actually had a conversation with a client that I was working with where she actually felt herself was wanting to find her dog a better home because she couldn't afford vet care. And that broke me, that you even feel that way about your own animal. And, she loves this dog. She reached out to us for help, but she felt because she couldn't afford vet care, and it's really expensive, that she wasn't fit to be the owner of this dog. And so, that idea has just gotten so bad that even owners feel that way. But I saw there was a comment in the chat that I really liked, like, who gets to decide like what a better home is. And that's true. We have 700 dogs at both of our shelters, like between the two shelters right now, that we're trying to find homes for. So we can't just decide that we're going to take animals out of a loving home and find them a better home when we already have all these dogs that we're trying to find good homes for anyway. It's just not something we can take on. And so to people that say that, let's try to find them a better home. They're already in a good home. They just need help.
I even had to talk to the volunteers and staff about it and kept getting people like, this is not the best home for the animals. We need to switch it. I'm like, no, we don't. We don't know what they're going through. What we can do is support them. These people are already invested. We have so many more animals that are coming into shelter that we have in the shelter. Let's try to support them, to support the animals, keep them out so you help the ones that truly need it.
Beautiful. We have a little bit of a technical question or logistical, or I guess strategy. So if you have limited resources, Lisa's asking this, how do you allocate funds to food, spay neuter surgeries, microchips, etc.? And do any of you use eligibility criteria like the SNAP program or some other questions?
We currently do not have an eligibility requirement for the services we provide. Now, if we refer them over, there may be one with the different programs we have, but as far as the initial, doghouse runners, basic vet care, stuff like that, we do not have an eligibility requirement.
We don't have eligibility requirements either here in DC. It's whoever comes to us for help and that's in need of it, we are there to help. As long as the only thing with us is just requirement of the residency, which most shelters are. That's the only thing. But as long as you're a DC resident, you are fine. We are here to help.
Yeah, we're the same way. As long as you're in our jurisdiction, we're willing to help. And even if you're outside of our jurisdiction, we try to offer resources that would be helpful to the person, that it doesn't matter like where they're at. So if someone's slightly out of our jurisdiction, I try to send them resources for other places that could help them.
Which generally always is a good thing too. As long as you can give a person like a resource to what they're looking for, they're generally satisfied. It's like, oh, okay, I got this. Thank you.
We don't have eligibility also. My thing is it costs more to house an animal inside the shelter than it would to give the supplies and this extra time to these people. You could spend the money, bring them in, keep them long. We don't know how they would act in the shelter, but using this to help them will help us in the long run.
Oh, how incredibly beautiful and inspiring. The four of you are showing true leadership and the future of animal welfare. And it's just really incredible to hear all of you. I think Claire and I can speak for Claire too. We could talk to you all day and just love having your voices centered. Thank you for bringing this conversation. And we'll continue this on the Maddie's Pet Forum. Please ask more questions. These folks will be available for questions and we'll be answering as well. And I think we actually also, Kelly, I think you were going to announce, we didn't get a chance to do it today, but next week we'll be announcing some winners. Do you want to unmute and let us know?
I would love to.
Hey, Kelly, good you're there.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Kelly Clarity. I'm the grants manager at Maddie's Fund. And I have a teaser for next week for our next call. We will be giving away, well, not giving away, we will be announcing the winners from our November giveaway at next week's call. So be sure to join us next week on Monday.
We'll also be announcing our Maddie's Pet Forum first time winner. So yeah, join us, please.
So beautiful. Donell, do you want to give us some words of wisdom to send us off for the week?
All right, the holidays are here. And your family, including your animals, are really important. So let's just make sure we keep that in mind going next few weeks.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you to the incredible panel and to everyone for joining today, and see you on Maddie's Pet Forum. Have a beautiful week.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks.